Welcome to episode 1 of Brokish Black It Girl, the podcast. I'm your host, Ryan C. Gale, aka Ryan, aka Girl Ryan. Just know that the girls aren't claiming to be broke, and I refuse to ever refer to myself as broke. But listen, I'm an artist, entrepreneur, and life just be lifing for me. Hello. What's up, beautiful people? Today is a great day. The sun is shining, the weather is breaking, and I have my sister and soror in the building, Miss Krystal, baby.
Hey.
How's it going? How are you?
It's going good. I can't complain.
Welcome back to the city. How does it feel to be back in the Big Apple?
It feels rejuvenating. There's so much energy.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I love it.
Yes. Well, I'm happy to have you back, even if it's just for a few days. Miss Krystal Benson, you may know her on IG as Inspired by Chris. She is the definition of Black It Girl realness. Krystal, you're a creative director, brand strategist, and founder of Clique Bait, a digital marketing agency. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Please introduce yourself to the community. We want to know who you are, where you're from, and what you do.
Ooh, okay. Okay, so like Ryan said, my name is Krystal. You can call me Chris. I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina, born and raised. I used to live here in New York. I moved up here in 2017 to chase a dream.
Right.
Yeah. And so I was here for 4.5 years within the fashion space, and then the pandemic happened, and I realized that while I love the creativity of fashion, I felt like being a stylist was not for me.
Right. Because you came on here to do styling. Okay.
The dream, I wanted to be like the next stylist for Essence magazine. But I realized that it wasn't for me, right? But I still love the creative aspect. And so once the pandemic happened, or before the pandemic happened, I kind of was like transitioning into doing digital. Yeah. And like creating content for brands as a micro influencer. And then I was like, wow, I could help other brands do this for their own, own content and things like that. And so, I launched Clique Bait actually like at the height of the pandemic, March 2020.
That's when a lot of brands, I feel like, kind of launched, because I launched by Copia around the same time as well.
People needed things to do.
Exactly.
Okay. So I launched that in 2020. Definitely had a lot of ups and downs, still growing, But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at now. I live in Houston, Texas. Yeah. So I'm back here for the weekend.
Nice. And Krystal and I met back in 2013. Oh, yeah. At that time, I was studying education, but like I knew I really wanted to work in fashion. So I was like, what opportunities in North Carolina can I find in fashion? And then we met at the Charlotte International Fashion Week.
Yeah. We was in the front of the house. We were
just like volunteers. Yeah. I mean, and having worked on like New York Fashion Week and experienced that, like totally different.
Totally different.
I read online, yes, girl, you are Googleable. Googleable. That you refer to yourself as a corporate baddie plus creative hustler. Can you explain what that means and how you effortlessly manage to do both?
So I think that's kind of old. I haven't like updated my bios in forever. However, so I came from corporate. Before moving up here, I worked within like the off-price retail space doing like analytics and buying.
But I would still say you kind of corporate, no? I mean,
I came from a corporate background. So did that. Like I said, then transitioned over into freelance basically since 2017. But actually, I guess like.
And what about this past year? You had a whole contract.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. So I did a 9-month contract with Twitch where I was a project manager. And for those who don't know, Twitch is basically, it started off as like a gaming platform. So where people could kind of like, basically sit online and play games all day.
Exactly.
But it's developed into so much more. And so I was able to help with like the brand partnerships
Still all aligning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely learned a lot. How to
Yeah.
manage the things with Clique Bait and just become more organized and things like that. But in terms of managing it, I will say that I feel like this last go around when I did have the contract, I kind of, I was trying to do everything, trying to do too much and got burnt out. So I definitely won't say that I have the answer to being like the best manager of both worlds.
Yeah.
But I definitely learned that, if you are looking to take up, whether it's a contract or a full-time role, and you have your own like business, you have to like set things in place in the forefront so that you don't get overwhelmed, right? So whether there are systems that you have in place, people that help you to do, to manage all of the things, and also understanding that something during that time frame is going to take a back seat.
Yeah.
And you just have to be real with yourself, because even though we want to be Superwoman, we can't. We can't do it all. There's going to be something that it might not suffer, but you're not going to be able to give everything 100%.
Yeah.
So once you get real with that with yourself, you'll give yourself grace and understand that, things are temporary.
Yeah.
And you'll just work towards what your end goal is.
Yeah. I feel like I kind of I battle with that, because when you have your corporate job, or at least something consistent, you have the funds to kind of back the entrepreneur hustle or your business. But when you're just focusing on your business, it's just money is slow, it's giving brokish.
It's definitely giving brokish. It definitely is. And I think you just have to one thing I'm learning and still learning is that you just have to have the vision in mind and understand that, when you're consistent with anything, it has the potential to grow. Obviously,
Exactly.
You'll learn and develop things along the way, but you have to be consistent. I mean, and in the forefront, realistically, Twitch was paying me way more than what I'm getting from Clique Bait right now. So I was definitely...
It made sense. You had to take it.
Yeah. And I have to understand, in this season, right, I might not get the immediate funds that I was getting from Twitch, but it'll come.
It's going to come.
With the consistency.
With the consistency. You just got to keep doing it. Got to keep pushing through. And I think, with me, in the past, I've always kind of, bounced back and forth. And I've never,
stayed with something.
Yeah. And so I'm really just going to stick it out.
Yeah.
I got to. I owe it to myself.
You do. Because realistically, if you think about it, if you keep splitting your time and your creative mind and energy between two things, it will always, your business that you love and the brand that you created will always be a side hustle. So you
gotta
have
give
to
it
bet on
100.
yourself. Yeah, you have
Gotta give it 100%. Because when you put in 50, you're going to get 50 back.
Period.
Do you think everyone is a creative or born with some kind of artistry?
Yeah, I think everyone's born with gifts.
Yeah.
Right? And it can be in different ways, whether it's visual, whether it's styling, whether it's aesthetic, whether it is just the gift of speaking, right? And you can use that, I think, in any way. It's just on how you look at it and what you decide to do with it. But yeah, I think that everyone has some ounce of creativity.
Exactly.
In them. Yeah.
But I think too, at least for me, you can have more than one creative talent.
Yeah.
And you don't have to just stick to one thing. I think in the past was just kind of okay, fashion is it. That's the only thing I'm going to do. That's the only thing I know. But it's just I'm interested in so many other things. Yeah. And so you can tap into everything that you feel.
But I do think that while you can tap into everything, you can't be all over the place, right? So I feel in order to perfect something, you should hone in on that and then grow.
Move
but
around.
Also you can be a multi-dimensional creative.
Exactly.
And have different aspects. You don't have to just focus on fashion. But yeah.
Do you feel you've discovered your purpose?
Yes. I feel I'm still uncovering it. I don't think that I've found the answer all the way.
Yeah.
But I do think that my creative eye is a gift, and I think that a part of me was put on this earth to help brands or people be able to tell their stories in a creative way. And I think that that's a big thing that sets brands apart. And everybody doesn't have that ability to do that, right? And so I feel like that's one of the reasons that I was put here or one of the purposes that I have on earth. And then I also think it's to like connect people. I'm like, I don't know a lot of people, but I do know people.
You know people.
Yeah. And in different spaces, right? And I think that it brings me joy to be able to like plug somebody for opportunity or like something that they need help with, whether it's like, oh, I need a videographer for X, Y, and Z. And I know someone, like that brings me joy because at the end of the day, it, you know, helps them reach whatever goal that they're getting towards.
Right, and that's why I think community is important and necessary, because once you have that foundation within your community, you can always tap into different people and people within your network, you know, especially when it comes for your business.
For sure. Community is very important. I think that, especially as a creative, community really helps whenever you are in the building phases and you're kind of like dealing with self-doubt or just like, all right, where is the money?
Yeah.
You know, community helps you to realize that like, okay, I'm not the only one. And it also gives you a little motivation and inspiration to see that someone else is doing it.
Exactly.
And so that kind of like fuels you.
Exactly. Because of your creative abilities or your business, do you feel like that has like impacted relationships? Have you lost friends? Have you gained friends? Like,
okay. I feel like we always go through like kind of like, I don't even know how to call it. Not even just
seasons.
Yeah, right. And everyone has a season. So I think that, well, relationship wise, right now I'm very much single. But prior to like when I was dating, it's like I haven't found a balance on how to like stop work. When I'm like, when I get like in like a groove and I'm like, oh, I gotta get it done, or I'm like, there's like a creative spark.
Yeah,
I can like always be on my computer. And even if I'm chilling, say if people are around, like I'm on my computer and I'm doing something. And so I've been told that it's like, dang, can you not just like chill? So
from friends or like when
like more
everybody,
so, like, not
relationship.
Relationship. Okay. Yeah. I think friends wise, no, I feel like if anything in this season lately, like a lot of my friends have been really big supporters because they knew like I went through like a lot with the contract. Like I feel like for me, because I'm a creative person and what I was doing was more like admin and kind of like, you know, making sure all of the T's were crossed and the I's were dotted. Like I wasn't doing anything that stimulated the creativity in me. So, and
you couldn't do anything on the side because it was just taking up too much time.
Too much time. It was taking up a lot of time. And so, and friends seeing how passionate I am about Clique Bait, just being there to like, once Twitch ended, the contract ended, just having them there to be like, because I was really going back and forth like, dang, am I stupid for like missing out on this money? Like, is this wrong? You know what I'm saying? Like, because I was living good. Like, I didn't have to second guess nothing. Like, rent was coming out, no problem. Like, I'm not thinking about nothing.
But your heart wasn't in it.
Yeah, and so having friends and community there to kind of like remind me, like, all right, Krystal, you weren't happy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just like, it's okay. Like,
yeah.
And sometimes you need the people around you to believe in you, sometimes more than you believe in yourself, to help you to keep going. And I feel like a lot of my friends in my life now and, you know, in past have definitely been like supporters in that way.
Yeah. Do you think you would have been able to get through that time if you didn't have close friends? Yeah. Yeah.
No. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I feel it. I mean, yeah, I feel like, and being in such a big city like New York, you think like, oh my God, it's so big, everybody's here, but I feel like a lot of times it could be lonely, you know, and you got to get through those moments on your own, which can be challenging.
But you don't have to get through it on your own.
Well, it feels like, you know, it feels like you're going through it on your own because everybody here, they got their own shit. They got their own things going on, you know, just like you hustling, they hustling too. So they can't really put a lot of energy into.
Yeah. I did learn that too. Like, I mean, I feel like we always know that everyone is dealing with something, right? And so I think what I did have to learn when I was going through that period is that you know, some friends in the moment can be there for you because they have the like mental capacity, they have the bandwidth to like deal with it. But then some can't. And that's okay. And I think that you have to like, as a friend who might be going through it, understand that it's not them being a bad friend, you know, like you have to, it's just like giving everyone grace. And I feel like giving grace has been like a hot word, or I don't even want to say like cliche a little bit, but it's true, right? You have to like give people grace because life, like you said, be lifing. So
they really do.
You know?
So you've done quite a bit of traveling throughout your creative journey. Mm-hmm. Has that impacted any of your relationships within your community in any way?
No. I mean, if anything, no, I don't think it's really impacted it in a like anyway.
No, yeah. Be positive, negative. You know,
from traveling.
Having to move from New York to go all the way to Houston. Mm-hmm. I mean, did you know anybody when you moved out there? Was it kind of like a whole restart or?
Yeah. So honestly, in hindsight, like after like thinking about it, I was like, Krystal, why did you do that?
And then you moved from North Carolina to New York too. Mm-hmm. Like,
so I moved from North Carolina to New York, and I knew people here. Like, obviously, I had you here. I had a few other, like, associates that turned into friends. And I had one of my cousins lived here. Mm-hmm. So, like, that was really all I had, right? And then eventually I grew a community, and it was great. And so then when I transitioned over to Houston, really.
And what year did you move to Houston?
Yeah. It'll be 2 years in July.
Okay. So not too long ago.
Right. And I moved, like, I knew people over there, but I knew, like, a few people, but they were, again, associates. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I moved, I was just like, okay, I've been here in New York for 4.5 years. I'm no longer, like, heavy in the fashion space, so it's not like I need to be here.
Yeah.
And everything I do is online. So it's like,
you can live anywhere.
I wanted to try something different. At the time, I was living in Brooklyn with crazy-ass roommates.
I remember.
Girl. Crazy-ass roommate. Well, honestly, I went through a lot with roommates in general, okay? But I was just tired of living with people.
Yeah.
But I knew that with what I was making and how my finances were, like, in order for me to not be, like, in the hood and living safe, like, I had to, like, have roommates. But I was like, no, let's try something different. Mm-hmm. So I sold everything and moved over to Houston. Like, me and my mom, we drove. Yeah. My mom is a trooper. Yeah, we drove. We drove to New York, too. But yeah, what was your question?
Like, you had to like find community and restart and build relationships.
Houston still is kind of like okay. So the first year, it felt like I was like visiting, just because like one, I still actually don't have a car. I'm Ubering everywhere. I'll rent a car here and there, but to be honest, I don't like driving.
Okay,
so I'm not like really pressed. But definitely, I was like comparing it to New York a lot.
Which you can't do because New York is not like any other place.
It's not, and I think that I used to hear that everybody will always say that while I was living here, and I'd be like, yeah, you're right, it's not. But then once I left, I'm like, no, you're so right. New York is like it's a one of a kind, and I feel like that's why a lot of people stay.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. But I feel like I'm still trying to find like the creative community in Houston. Mm-hmm. And no shade to Houston. I feel like Houston is, every city, every place is like cool in their own right. But I feel like a lot of the people that I've came in contact with anyway are a little bit like in the box instead of thinking outside of it. Yeah. And so like the idea, like things that they think are cool, is like, I get frustrated.
Y'all don't think the same.
Yeah. But then it's like, okay, because I feel like to kind of like go back, I went to Houston, I only visited it once. And then I was like, okay, I want to move.
So you had only been there one time before even.
And I honestly, to the people who are listening and watching, don't do that. I think that you should like really like do your research and like truly and like have a plan. I think I was like, okay, this seems cool. Like everybody was saying like Houston is like the next place for like young professionals.
I remember like Instagram had all those ads. It was like so many different ads. Like, this is what you can get in Houston for this amount of money. Like, look at all of this space. Like, it was like so many ads.
Yeah. And so I was like, okay, why not? You know? But yeah, I'm definitely still trying to find the community. I've made a lot of connections there. And it's all about like being intentional. And I think that's wherever you go or with whatever you do. Just like putting myself in the spaces to meet people.
Yeah.
But then also I feel like God put me there for a reason. And I think that the things that I've learned and experienced in New York, I feel like I can bring that to Houston with my agency. And so that's kind of where I'm at now. Mm-hmm. And so instead of like fighting the fact that like, oh my God, Houston is not like New York. It's like, okay, I'm not even trying to make Houston New York. That's not what I want. But I feel like in terms of the experiences, right? Especially when it comes to business owners, instead of it being so transactional, but like thinking of how you can create an experience for your consumer so they aren't just like interacting one time, but they become like lifelong.
Mm-hmm. I think that's where I'm at too with Barkobi, just kind of like building community around that, you know, like setting a foundation, like knowing who my audience is, because right now I don't really know, you know, and not making everything so just like transactional, just like here you are, and then that's it. I think that's important. So what are some of your go-to coping mechanisms to stay confident and inspired?
That's a good question. First of all, you should have sent me these questions before.
Listen.
Okay? So I could... Damn. You said, what are my go-to mechanisms?
What are your go-to coping mechanisms? Like, how do you cope whenever you are feeling down, or if you need some inspiration?
Okay, if I need some inspiration, I might go to the museum.
Out in Houston? Mm-hmm. What museum?
They have so it's like the Museum of Fine Arts. Or it's like a whole little hub. They have a contemporary one, fine arts. I haven't been to they have like a natural science one. I haven't been to that, but yeah. I'll do that. What else?
Do you journal? Do you meditate? Like, how do you start your day? Are you drinking tea? Like,
I mean, to be real, like, I don't have I feel like I should. I mean, so I definitely try to start with like prayer, reading like a Bible verse or some type of devotional, thanking God, of course. Sometimes, which I shouldn't, like, I'm trying to get better. I don't really have like a morning routine, or a nighttime routine.
You just do your thing.
Yeah. But and sometimes I do. At one point, like, I had a real good regimen, and then like Twitch happened. And then I was just like, all right,
now you got to find it again,
right? So so I'm like in the space of like trying to find that. But yeah, sometimes I guess another coping mechanism, like talking to like family, whether it's my mom or my sister. Really close friends.
You were traveling a lot. Like, are you still doing that? And back into that?
Well, I was traveling with work.
I just remember seeing you always traveling. I don't know.
Yeah, that was with work. That was more so with with the fashion space, like Brooks Brothers, traveling with them, or like and then with Twitch, I've traveled a few times with their things. And then some of the clients that I've worked with content wise, like I've gotten to travel like a few places. I want to get more international for sure. But yeah, traveling does kind of bring some points of like inspiration. Yeah, just seeing like, especially internationally though. I feel like
especially for me too. Sometimes I just have to get a break. And just like step back from New York, because you're just seeing the same thing, or you're just like trying to keep up, or it's just so much going on, and you
need to breathe.
Yeah, I like to go down south sometimes. Like, I like to just sometimes go back down south, or even DC, because it's not as fast as here. So yeah, like going back home. And recently I've really been into like my motivational, like listening to like motivational speakers in the morning, like to start my day, like affirmations. Like,
oh yes, I love affirmations. Yeah, that I will say. I have a whole jar of like affirmations that I have made. I actually made them for my friends like a few Christmases ago. When I was like broke-ish, right? Because I'm not claiming it, right? Yes. But I made it for a few friends. Like, since I didn't have like a lot of money to get like expensive gifts, I was like, I want to do something thoughtful. Okay. I'm a thoughtful person, and so I had like made all of these little affirmation cards and put them in a jar, so that they could like share that, like, you know, whenever, honestly, I think I forgot how many days of it was. But anyway, I look at those affirmation cards in the morning. Sometimes I'll post them on Instagram.
Yeah.
I'm contemplating actually, I haven't told anybody, but I'm contemplating like creating an affirmation deck.
Yeah, my friend Kelsey created something like that with her brand, Living for Synergy, and I listen. I pull those out all the time. I love those. Yeah. I totally think you should. And you are super thoughtful, like when it comes to just like the little things, even with not the little, but your Clique Bait retreat, and like you got all the snacks and the PJs and all the cute things, you know. That's so on brand. Okay, so let's switch it up. So we've known each other since 2013, and I think like for as long as you've known me, I've always been in a relationship. Like this is probably like the first time I'm really just like single and like discovering myself and really trying to figure out like what it is that I want and how do I want to date. And I'm a Capricorn, so I'm very like logical when it comes to situations. I think I'm very like anal when it comes to certain things. But what has your dating experience? What has it been like?
Like in life, or are you talking about just?
I mean now, like at this point in your life right now, with you transitioning from your contract, moving back into Clique Bait full time, like, are you dating?
No.
Okay.
Right. But I mean, not saying that. So like, okay, last year, like when I was going through all of the things, like I wasn't checking for nobody.
Okay.
You know, like I definitely had people who were reaching out, checking in on me, but it's just like, I just wasn't there all the way. Now it's like, okay, Krystal, you're getting older. You know, like having a companion is like, don't get me wrong. Like I love talking to my friends, but sometimes it's different when you're talking to someone who you care about in a different way, right? Like it's just like having that companionship or just being able to do things with them. So it's like, I do want that. Like, and for the longest, I'm gonna be real. Like, I was definitely just trying to have fun.
Yeah,
I didn't want any type of
Can't
commitment.
have fun for too long.
You can. I mean, you can if that's what you want,
if that's
right?
What
I
you
think
want.
that's the thing. Like, there's no like right or wrong on how you have a relationship or what you want to do with yourself, right? If that's what you choose, by all means.
I don't want to be old and single.
With a lot of cats
or dogs. Like I don't see that for me.
Yeah, no, me neither. So now it's like I have people that I'm like that I communicate with, but I don't do a good job of being consistent. And
I can relate.
Yeah.
Like I respond. I'm not really a good texter.
Yeah, I like FaceTime. But that's only if I like you.
FaceTime. And I appreciate a phone call. You know, like, cause like, or just like ask me out. Like really, that's
Stop
all
texting me.
Yeah, that's all I really want you to just be like, yo, when you free, or like let's
Make
link
plans.
up this weekend.
Right.
You know, or don't text me like link up though, because I'm gonna be like, what is a link up? Yeah, but no, for sure, like. I'm not texting all day. I'm gonna
like stop what you doing me 24/7. I was like, but I will say that I feel like I have to get what I want. I have to also put that out there. Facts. So I mean, not actively working on it, but that's something that I want to work towards this year for sure. It's like one, putting myself out there more, and opening up, because I can be very like. So, you know,
like closed off.
Yeah. Or, you know, or very much closed off, or I can come across very like, I'm good, I don't need nobody. And
I try not to. I don't know if I come off like that. I feel like people think I come off like that, but I never try to come off like I don't need anybody, because I need somebody.
No, I agree. Same. But I think also like I've been so like focused on like trying to grow Clique Bait and like figuring that out and stuff, and it's just like also a relationship is another job, and I'm like, do I have time for that? I mean, you make time for what you want to,
exactly.
Right? But I will say that like just hearing friends' dating stories, hearing friends who are dating, who are married, and just the shit they go through, like sometimes it just made me be like, I'm good.
Well, marriage is definitely it has its ups and downs. I mean, I'm not married, but just knowing people who are married is just kind of like, it's just like an ongoing thing. You have to literally wake up and choose that person every single day.
And my thing is, I get tired of stuff quick, so I'm like,
do I wanna?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But
so, I mean, would you say dating in Houston is better than your experience from when you were in New York?
I've been in Houston for almost 2 years, and I've not dated anyone.
Dang. Is it like the guys aren't approaching, or?
Well, first of all, it's a lot of females in Houston, and so a lot of the females can be aggressive, and so men are used to.
I keep seeing this, like, aggressive women. Like, what is that?
I feel like maybe aggressive might not be. I mean, some of them are very aggressive because I've seen it, but it's just more so like
she would approach you.
Yeah, like, okay, I think you're cute. Like, you should take me to dinner tomorrow.
So that's aggressive.
I mean, it can be when you from the South, and I feel like you used to like men like
courting you.
Yeah, like the chase, right? Like what is going on? Like I don't know.
No,
but
I
also
agree.
a lot of the men that I meet while I'm in Houston don't live in Houston. Like they're there visiting. So then it's like,
okay. So
but I'm gonna be intentional. Of like putting myself out there for sure.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens.
So are you like on any of the apps? Do you use apps?
Okay, so I'm on Hinge.
Okay,
but I don't get off of it. Like, and also I'm not consistent with it.
Oh, so when you say you don't get off of it, like you don't move the conversation, it just stays on Hinge.
I mean, there's been a few that like I've given my number to.
Okay.
But then I'm like, you could be creepy. I'm not meeting you in person.
See, I'm the same way.
I would rather meet them out, like, you know, like, or meet them through a friend.
I get just tired of just like trying to figure out like,
because you could be so cool on a app.
Yeah.
And then you meet them in person and it's like, you weird.
And also the apps kind of just be throwing me off because it's just like sometimes guys be having filters on their photos.
Okay. No man should have a filter on his photo. And like, honestly, they don't need to be doing boomerangs either.
I've seen the filter on the photo, like it's like I'm judging you too much because it's like, why are you taking your selfie?
But then it's like a double standard though, because it's like we using filters.
I don't put the filters. I try to be my
natural,
real authentic
on
self. You know, like you can even look at my Instagram. Like, but no, I'm judging you too much. I'm judging you too much on the dating app because I'm like, why did you choose that photo? You know?
Yeah.
Who took that? Like,
not who took it.
Yeah. Okay. So, have you ever dated someone that was like not a creative or more like in the medical, corporate? Like, yeah. How was that?
It can be. I mean, it can be a little hard because then it's like their work schedule is different, right? Their I won't even say priorities, but like how they move might be a little different. And so it's just, I mean, but then on the bright side, or I guess on the positive side, they can help you think a little more logically, I think sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, or being a little bit more strategic, because I feel like creatively, sometimes I can be like all over the place trying to figure things out.
Same.
But then like they're very much more structured, and so that can have its benefit.
Yeah. I need that balance. Like, but
I don't have to date any. Like the man that I talk to, he does not have to be a creative.
I think I have to talk to a creative, though. I think I have to date, because I've dated people that weren't, and I think that it's just like you just don't get it, you know?
True.
Or at least you're not trying to. Like, I don't have a consistent schedule, you know? Like, my shit is very much up and down. Like, I mean, I would love to be spontaneous, but a lot of times, like, I can't be because if work calls, like, I gotta go. So, I feel like, that's kind of like been
that's a stylist schedule.
That's kind of like been my, That's kind of like been my experience, because I'm not consistent. Well, my life, I've been being intentional about being consistent with things that I can be consistent about. But like if somebody hit me up and needs a stylist and it aligns, like I'm gonna take it. Like, sorry, I might have to cancel this trip or cancel dinner. Like, don't be mad at me. You know.
But then I think but you still got to set boundaries up for yourself, though. You know what I'm saying? Because then it's like you can't keep canceling.
It depends, you know. Once
depends on the check,
yeah, exactly. Like once the money flows and everything is consistent, then I can have, I can be flexible. I can say no to things.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
You gotta work with me, you know, and you gotta work with me. You gotta definitely be like a supporter.
For sure.
You know?
I think anybody that I date, that being a supporter, I think that goes both ways though, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay, so like what does an ideal date look like for you? Like what is a date?
An ideal
if somebody
date
wants to
has
date
to include food.
Okay, for sure. Yes. Listen, I'm just like
you ain't gonna feed me? No,
people be like, oh, let's link up for drinks. Like, I can't just drink like
alcohol.
Yeah, like, I need to eat. Yeah. Like, don't just try to
get me drunk. No.
Get me drunk.
I don't even
That's
drink
not
like
okay.
That. But yes, food. I feel like date like movies should not be a date.
You don't think movies is a date?
No, you're not talking.
That's very nostalgic.
I mean, yeah, that's when y'all like are in a relationship.
Okay.
I feel like
not a first date.
No.
Okay.
You're not supposed to talk in a movie. So how are you really getting to know somebody?
But y'all go somewhere afterwards.
No.
Okay. Okay, movies out.
Yeah, but like something fun. I like whether it is like hands-on, like whether it's like an activity, something like that. So like, I mean, they have a lot of things. Whether you can do paint and sip, right?
I've never had a date like that.
Situation. The
you had a paint
reality.
and sip date?
Mm-hmm.
That's super cute.
Yeah, virtual reality. Go play games.
I've never done that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Go to a museum.
That's always nice. Yeah.
They say, well, no, that's more where you want to meet people. Like meet people doing the things like
that you like to do. Okay.
Yeah. I've never done this before, but I would like to work out with the person that I'm talking to.
Like a first date?
Not a first date.
Okay.
But a date. Like we could go to the gym.
Yeah,
That could be cool.
Yeah. That could be cool too.
Yeah. But like something like hands-on. And not just food. Like like food is cool. I mean, no, food is
incorporate food there.
Yes. Yeah, after.
Exactly.
And don't always think that you're coming back to my crib.
Okay, listen. So, like, you can have a daytime date.
Yeah.
And a nighttime date doesn't include you need to come back to my crib.
Yeah.
For sure.
Now, I mean, if I lean towards that, then okay. But don't automatically assume.
So, it's not giving sex on the first night?
Absolutely not.
Okay. So, what are some characteristics and qualities that you would need in a partner?
Patient. First of all, I don't want to go to the materialistic things.
Say it.
No, I'm just saying, but I definitely need somebody that's patient.
Okay.
I like a nice smile. That's for sure.
Does teeth include like the nice smile?
Yeah. What do you mean? I'm confused. What?
I'm just asking.
How you smiling without?
So you gotta have nice teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice smile. Good hygiene. Because
sure.
It's like, my thing is like, oh, have you ever seen someone with dirty nails? No dirty nails.
Yes, no dirty nails.
No dirty anything, right? But yes,
I check my nails.
Care about your appearance. I'm not really like a label person, right? Like, oh, you gotta rock the latest this and that and the third. I think it's just like knowing how to put it together for yourself, for your body type. Yeah, definitely have some type of swag. Right?
Confidence.
Oh, confidence is, because I mean, at the end of the day, like when you walking in a room, you want to walk in a room. Like, say if it's you and the person that you're dating, right? Like, you want to walk in like, yeah, we look good. Like, we shit, you know?
And then I think, like, too, when you have that confidence, it really don't matter what you got on, honestly. Like, you can have on, like, it matters what you got on, but, like you said, it doesn't have to be labels. It could be some chill shit. But as long as it's, like, you got confidence about yourself and swag, like, nobody is even paying attention to that.
And then what other characteristics? Yeah, so I said patient. Creative is cool, but it doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
I think
you don't want a business partner.
Do I want a business partner? No. I mean, no. I don't even know if I want to date somebody. No. Yeah. Because I feel like that could just go wrong.
Not like a Beyonce and Jay-Z situation.
That's different. Yeah. They like both. I mean, that's different.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, if he had like a creative agency, he could collaborate on some shit. But yeah. I don't know what else. I mean, I should know, right? I should know. No, I need to go and write this list down.
I guess that's it.
That's probably why I don't have nobody now, because I'm not fucking sure.
No, I think that definitely supportive.
Yeah.
Definitely patient, understanding. somebody that is very communicative. Like,
Oh, for sure.
Like, don't just shut down. If something's bothering you, like, let's talk about it.
And I need to work on being communicative, because if it pisses me off, then you're going to feel the energy of I'm pissed off.
But you're not going to say nothing.
No. I might say it, but I need to learn how to, like, communicate it without, like, having an attitude.
I mean, give yourself time. And then, like, when you ready to talk about it, like, talk about it.
Yeah.
Like, hey, something's bothering me. I want to talk about it, but I just can't talk about it right now.
Right, yeah. And I also feel like, because sometimes, I won't say I'm definitely not high strung, but I can be a little antsy. So I need someone that's calm.
Yeah. I feel like I'm probably high strung. I probably go back and forth, to be honest. But I'm mainly chill, I think. So where do you see yourself settling in the next few years? Is it in the city? Are you going to be doing some more moving? Are you going to go back down south? Like,
I don't know. I mean,
do you even care about that?
What I'm gonna be?
Like, where you're gonna be settling, like, in the next few years? Like, when you want to settle down?
I feel like I need to figure that out, though, because it's like, who wants to, like, be a wanderer all the time? And I feel like then you can really, like, set roots.
I feel like that's me.
Yeah, but you've been here in New York, so you're not really wandering.
That's facts.
I feel like I'm bouncing around from city to city, so it's like I do need to find, like, a home, I guess you could say.
And it's not Houston?
I don't know.
No. Okay.
I'm not. And I feel, because sometimes people are like, or, you know, when you meet people and they're like, oh my God, this place feels like home. I haven't had that. Like, even when I was here in New York, it didn't feel like home. Yeah. But it felt like a great place to be. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm actually not really sure. I want to actually live, do international. Maybe for like 6 months or a year.
I would love to do that too. Like London. Like, when I visited,
it's just like New York.
I was like, oh my God, I love this place. Like, I want to live here for like maybe 6 months to a year. So yeah.
So TBD.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining us and being my very first guest. Thank you for being open with your experience and sharing your knowledge and expertise. Would you like to let the people know where they can follow you, how to connect with Clique Bait, and what they should look out for?
Yeah, so, well, first, thank you for having me. I feel so honored to be your first guest. Hopefully I did good.
You did amazing.
Okay, good. But you could totally follow me on Instagram, _ inspired by Chris, clickbait, clickbait.creative. And it's Clique, CLIQUE. Yeah, and so I guess what to stay tuned for. So this weekend, actually, my team and I were doing a retreat. Yes. So to kind of like build back and kind of, you know, just like, get back together, finalize a few things. This will actually be our first time meeting as a team all collectively in person. Yes. So super excited for that. And for, I guess, what you can look forward to, like, really, I will.
Yes, you will.
Fix the words,
okay? You will.
We will be, maybe not this year, but be on the lookout. We will definitely be winning awards for, like, creative content, right? Like, yes. So, really, like I said, like, our biggest thing is, like, helping brands tell their story, not only on social, but in real life. Yes. And so we are kind of, like, laying the foundation to do those things. Yeah. So stay tuned for that. Follow us on social. Yeah. I'm so excited.
I can definitely see that for you, for Clique Bait. Like, yeah, you do this and you've been doing it for a long time. I love how you just like tell stories and how you capture them. Like, it's always so good.
Oh, thanks,
and you
Ryan.
give me good advice.
Oh, thanks, Ryan.
Well, thank you all for listening and for tuning in. Yes. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel right now. We're dropping new episodes every week, every Wednesday, so make sure you tune in on Wednesday mornings for our latest episode. Until next time, peace and blessings. XOXO.